Everybody, Breakthrough Health and Life Coach Glenn Hattem here. I am here with my good friend, Dr. James Urban. He's in Hawaii, and he is someone that I've known for years and respected tremendously for his nature. What I mean by that, his nature, he has instilled in his life a number of practices that allow him to be the unique individual that I've been able to mirror quite a number of my daily practices, not just from my meditations, but just some of James's philosophies on life, and then how that shows up in his practices, in how he serves patients, and has such a tremendous impact. I thought it'd be just a great conversation today, talking with James remote. Next time we'll do it in Hawaii, but I would love to just have James share a little bit today about his path and his story, and some of the nuggets of wisdom that if you've got a notebook handy, you could probably learn a few things today as well. In any case, James, just want to say welcome everybody to a brief conversation about path and maybe some of the science behind being a doctor. What does it really mean to be a doctor in this day and age and serving people? And I always kind of think of that Patch Adams movie with Robin Williams, where it's like, to be a doctor, to be with people in their vulnerable place, asking for help, good help. How are you showing up? How are you bringing your art form to the work? And maybe James is a good place to jump in and share a little bit about yourself and where you're at currently, and then we can jump back in time, a little bit of the share of how you arrived here.
Well, aloha.
Aloha.
Well, I think you hit the nail on the head. It's about serving people, and so that was one of the things about chiropractic. I really wanted to get into the health field, but I really didn't want to get into medicine. I was at the time, I was a freshman in high school, and I read a book by Franco Columbu, who back then was obviously a well-known bodybuilder and nutritionist, but he was also a chiropractor. Yeah. So I was intrigued just by that thought of what is a chiropractor? And from my freshman year on in high school, I knew then that I wanted to be a chiropractor just based on what I was learning about the profession. And it was I guess, a non-traditional way to get healthy and stay healthy. And that's what was so intriguing about the profession. And once I got to chiropractic school, it really opened my mind even more based on its philosophy. And that philosophy, that there's an innate intelligence or a universal intelligence that controls everything.
Yep.
And just having that understanding and knowledge, then I've been able to kind of use that in my life. And how I got out to Hawaii, that's an interesting. Well, that's one of those hour-long discussions that we'll have, because it'll probably take me at least 30-40 minutes to kind of explain that.
Yes, quite.
But the lifestyle out here is it's again, it allows me to kind of keep that wholeness, to live that life of I guess the life that I always wanted to or dreamed of living. And so yeah,
you had this way when you lived here in Boulder. I had your practice here. You had this way of walking in the world that I was probably at my infant stage of development in this area of aligning with universal intelligence, so to speak, and becoming aware and tapping into those things. And
it's really about respecting nature and what's been given to us, and living that. And a lot of people, they live their life trying to make and create all this wealth for them, but then they negate taking care of themselves. And so then they spend all that wealth, trying to get back that health that they lost initially.
Yeah, I think there's a famous quote by was it Dalai Lama about that.
Yeah. I don't know who the quote was from, but I just remember that myself. And I'm like, wow, yeah, it speaks the truth.
And even if we're driving that, like I'm a very big driving force of self-care, but even myself, I'm like, oh, I'm making the money and I'm letting some of the self-care go. It's like, ooh, better hit the brakes and redirect my energy and focus. That even with that knowing and that hearing that saying, that quote, like many quotes, it's like these things come around and spank you on like,
Oh, big time.
what, how have you taken your own inner guidance and started neglecting in order to try to capitalize in the world? And so that's been my experience, has been knowing someone like you who really is in flow a lot of times, and is even like, I'm sure a big piece of coming to Hawaii is like, I want to be in a place where I can really stay in that space and hold and protect that, and have, like, your values are aligned in the environment there. The environment there is very supportive of what you believe.
Exactly. It's very supportive. It allows me to lead that quality of life that I've been looking for.
Yeah.
I like being outdoors. I like exercising. I like eating well. I like the fact that, I can walk outside practically every day in shorts and a t-shirt and,
Rub it in for all of us mountain folks.
yeah. No, well, growing up initially in Nebraska, I mean, it was, you spent half your life in the house because it's too cold outside, or,
Yep.
but the weather here is, actually what's outstanding, and that's what's intriguing. I'm sure it's intriguing to a lot of people because a lot of people, like, this is spring break here in Hawaii, and everybody wants to travel to Hawaii to, experience, that the outdoors that maybe they've been missing for the last several months.
Yeah.
And so, I'm fortunate enough to have that, but unfortunately too, it's, we're a 5-hour flight away from, any landmass. And, so yeah, there's perks and there's some not so great perks here. So it's not, uh, everything. Go ahead.
But the aspect of like paradise there, what you've shared is just about how you're able to be in your practices and your nature away and be aligned, in alignment, living in alignment of what you
Yeah,
need.
it's really, Glenn, it's about simplifying things. I had a nice house, uh, back on the mainland, and I had a nice practice, but there's more to life than having all these material things, and I've actually downsized quite a bit, and I pretty much tried to simplify my life more and more, and I'm happier doing that.
You still have like half a dozen boards and play toys now.
Oh,
Those have
I've got my quiver. But even then, I'm looking at it. I'm like, going, okay, I never use this anymore. When I got out here, I'm like, okay, yeah, I really want to experience Hawaii. I want to go, surf. I want to learn kite surfing. I want to, learn to stand up paddle. And so, but even then, I've just kind of simplified some things. There's one really main thing that I like to do, and that's the stand up paddle. And the fact that living here is that, there's surf all the time, but, I get to choose which surf I want to, partake in. So.
So when you choose in your professional career, how are you bringing that embodiment when you show up with your clients and you've chosen these particular modalities that you've been a stronghold with your form of chiropractic for, gosh, how long have you been? It's Gonstead and some of the other methodologies and the different apparatus that you use in your facility. I mean, you've been in this game for how many years now? I mean, it's been
since 91.
Since 1991. Okay. I don't know what song was playing back then, but
yeah, it's been a long time. And, I was fortunate enough, when I started off in chiropractic school, I had some friends that kind of introduced me to this, the technique that I use. I mean, you referenced it, was the Gonstead technique, and that served me really well. It was just based on this Dr. Gonstead who, his work ethics, his typical day was started at 8 in the morning and went till 3 in the morning, 7 days a week. He'd see almost 300 patients a day. He built a clinic up in Mount Horeb, Wisconsin, that the clinic itself seated 120 people.
Wow.
And then he built a hotel next to it to accommodate all the people that flew in from all the different countries to see him. And so his wife ran the hotel, and he saw patients in the clinic, and it was just that was his whole life. And I think that he attracted many other chiropractors because of his success. And that's what he just he lived and died for chiropractic. He understood it, and he understood the benefits of it, and he was an excellent practitioner. And so you can only hope to be 10% of what he was.
Well, what does your 10% look like in your, because I know you've hoped that and you've aspired to that, but what is that look like for you? And why do people on the island there, or people from off island, come to see you? Because you're kind of a miracle worker. You really show up present for people and listen deeply and follow your.
Well, Glenn, I certainly don't work from 8 in the morning till 3 in the morning. In fact, I'm not even close to that. And but I've had come to the philosophy. I don't want to work that way. I really want to enjoy my life, and in a lot of different ways, and not just my time in the office is definitely with my patients, and that's the time to focus on them.
Yep.
But outside the office, I like to do things and enjoy my time here on the island. And I've got friends that will go out and hang out. We'll go jump in the ocean, and to me, that's what life's about, just experiencing all kinds of different things. But the profession that I'm in has allowed me to do that for sure.
Yeah, I love always I get your answer machine. It's like, hey, you've reached Dr. James Urban's office. Office hours are just Wednesday, 9 to 11. I'm like, I'm surfing.
I don't think it's just on Wednesdays.
Wednesday and Thursdays.
Although since we've had this, lockdown,
Yeah.
I've kind of reduced things, and I'm actually enjoying, more time to myself. So, which has been, outstanding. But
Well, if you wanted to share something that would be most helpful to our viewers and people along the professional path, I think you've really hit it. But I think driving it home, which is, not identifying so much with your career.
Yeah.
And identifying actually not so much with yourself, but actually what wants to flow through you, how life wants to experience you in a form of expression, uniquely as Dr. James Urban, but also, the playful, charismatic, childlike qualities, and the spiritual being that's here for a journey.
Yeah. The one word I can think of is simplify. Just look at, simplify things, make things easier for yourself.
How does one go about doing that? Because sometimes simplifying seems it sounds good theoretically, but for one to do that.
Well, most of us, it's kind of about keeping up with the Joneses. Well, forget the Joneses, look at yourself, evaluate what's, most meaningful for you or to you. And I'd say go with that. And, since I've been out here, I've just, and I can even think of other things that I need to simplify in my life. Not just, I guess looking at it from maybe a material aspect, because a lot of people do. It's like they want more things, they want more this, but they're not really happy with those things.
They're being owned by the responsibility of.
Yeah. And so again, I don't want these material things to own me. And I just want to enjoy life. I get up this morning. I got up as before I'm getting online with you, and I'm doing a little bit of reading, and I'm going to go do a little workout here in just a bit, and I'll head down to the office, and I'll go put some work in at the office and serve some more people, and
go
come home.
Yeah. I think I definitely, my life reflects that. and time with my dog who you heard barking.
Yeah, she agrees.
Yeah, that's it.
Tavi agrees.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but I know when we first met in our friendship, it was like I was a little out of whack with some of these things, and it's taken quite a great deal of life experiences to
Yeah, but don't you think that you've kind of simplified things in your life too, as well?
Absolutely. I live by similar principles of just, that's how I walk. That's my way in the world, is time with clients, helping them, time with dog, time with food, time with working out, time with impact community wise. And I'm just in flow. It's just trying to maintain that flow state. People often talk about the runner's high. It's like, how do you hang out in this place where you just know you're supposed to be here in this moment doing these things and being in the moment unfolding, versus in your head with maybe ideals that are creating suffering in your mind because you're not accomplishing them, but being more present to what needs to happen in the moment.
Well, I mean, just God, we've been friends for over 10 years, more than that. And so, I mean, just in that time, well, just in that time, Glenn, I've seen a lot of change in you, and I've seen you really kind of, grow up in a sense, and just really realize some things personally, which I really, I respect that. And I think that's awesome, where you've come from and where you're at now. So, and proud of you, man.
Thank you for the positive reflection. I appreciate that. I wish we weren't short on time on this particular call, but I know we're going to invite you back for a deeper dive into some.
Yeah, let's do that. But it would even be better if we just did it live.
I know.
We can do it live.
But see, everybody, my buddy over here has been trying to get me to move to Hawaii because he knows I actually belong there and I want to be there. And the fact is, if I go there and I get a ticket that's round trip, well, that was a waste of money because I'll probably stay. Yeah. So
well,
yes,
there's a lot of people that I know here that actually made a trip out here and never left. Yeah. In fact, when I first moved out here, some of my neighbors were that way. They came out here on a trip and never went back. They never used that round trip. They just they rented a place, stayed a little bit longer, liked it, and then eventually got back and got their stuff back on the mainland and had it shipped out here. And doing really well.
I desire that, and I'm scared of that because that's what I'm afraid will happen. But let's revisit this conversation because maybe I will be on the next call in Hawaii. But let's I gotta jump off and actually tend to a client right now. But James, thank you for connecting again. I'll be talking to you. We talk all the time, but it's just great to hang out on one of these calls together.
Excellent.
Looking forward to spending more time with you, brother.
All right, sounds great, Glenn. Aloha.
Right. Aloha, and thank you everybody for listening in, and we'll talk soon.